What's going on YouTube? Professor Childress class. I am Arthur Hippolyte and I am coming at you live. This isn't love. Well, anyways, we're going to be discussing a series that I've enjoyed, and that is Game of Thrones. Relax. It's not a review on the show. It's just a psychoanalysis.
What unites people? Armies? Gold? Flags? Stories? We're in the great game now. And the great game is terrifying.
In this video, I will be discussing 3 psychoanalytic concepts within the show. The first concept that we will be discussing is the Oedipus complex. And I will be focusing in on Tyrion Lannister and Tywin Lannister's relationship. Tywin Lannister is the father of Jaime Lannister, Cersei Lannister, and Tyrion Lannister. Tyrion Lannister is the youngest of Tywin Lannister's children. Tywin Lannister hates Tyrion. Most people feel that it is because he is considered to be deformed in the show. In the show, Tyrion is a little man. But really is because Tyrion's mother, who is Tywin's wife, dies at childbirth having Tyrion. So Tywin Lannister blames Tyrion for his mother's death. The Oedipus complex explains that a father gets in competition with his son over time, and usually their father-son relationship suffers because the mother and son relationship over time grows, and the father gets jealous of the son and the mother's relationship, thinking that the son will eventually take the mother away. When it comes to Tywin and Tyrion's relationship, Tyrion did that the day he was born. He didn't even have to gain a relationship with the mother. In Tywin's mind, Tyrion killed his wife. And from then on, especially also not adding insult to injury, Tyrion is also considered to be deformed. So in Tywin's mind, Tyrion is nothing more than a curse.
You're no son of mine. I am your son. I have always been your son.
The second concept that I will be discussing is the id, ego, and superego, and I will be discussing it from the standpoint of Jaime Lannister and Cersei Lannister. The id is the sexual and loving relationship that Jaime and Cersei have for one another. It is so intense, so erotic, and overall just lust filled. But the thing about it is that they are both twin brother and sister. And even in the society of this fantasy world, this is not acceptable at all, especially when it comes to their father. But how they hide this and how they hidden it for many years is with the ego. So the ego, even though they still have this lust for each other in public, they cannot show it because one, they are siblings, but also Cersei is the queen. Cersei is married to the king. who is Robert Baratheon. And Jaime is the Kingsguard, who, as a Kingsguard, you have to swear off ever marrying, and you must solely serve the king as a Kingsguard to protect him. There isn't much of a superego since they are both in very high positions of power where they do not have to hide anything from anybody except for people in their royal court, especially the king,
You don't really plan on staying in the
and their
King's
father.
Guard, do you?
But because they are queen and Kingsguard, they don't exactly have to hide that from most. With one of the examples where she becomes the more and more paranoid and thinking that people are out to get her, she would stop eating, and she wouldn't trust anybody to be in her chambers. In the long run, she was right, because eventually somebody, that person being the closest to her, trying to did end up killing her, and Cersei in the first place. So to kiss, she was right by the body. And Jaime takes advantage of her and rapes her, ultimately right next to their son's dead body. The last concept that we will be discussing is alienation. And we will be seeing it through the standpoint of Daenerys Targaryen. Daenerys Targaryen, from the time that her husband Cal dies, she alienates herself from any real emotional attachment, because she, through time and time again, it has been proven that she can't trust anybody, because somebody is always out to get her, because she is known or thought of as the rightful heir to the Iron Throne by blood. And she also feels she can't trust anybody else because everybody else is looking to sit upon the Iron Throne, and they want her dead in order to get it. With alienating herself, she becomes more and more paranoid and thinking that people are out to get her. She would stop eating. She wouldn't trust anybody to be in her chambers. In the long run, she was right, because eventually somebody, and that person being the closest to her, did end up killing her in the first place. So maybe she was right to alienate herself. All right, and that's the end. Appreciate y'all for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. Thank y'all. That's it. Peace.